Welcome back to the Unleashed Advisors YouTube channel. I am Craig Nash, and I'm here today with my beautiful wife, Ann Nash. We are realtors here in the upstate, and today we're going to talk about open houses and how they can help you generate some leads. So let's jump right in, Annie. So what is one thing that you start off with when it comes to open houses?
Well, let me just start with, I love open houses. It's a great opportunity to meet people, to show off some beautiful houses, and to help possibly sell a house. But you asked, what do I do to start off?
Yeah. Hold on just a second. I want to add a little bit to that. Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
So another thing that we hear is, do open houses work? Do they not work? I hear this from, multiple realtors and, even like clients and stuff like that. I will tell you open houses do work. Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter that you have to do them right. And do them well.
There's some strategies for sure to do them.
So we're going to talk a little bit about those strategies. So
okay,
continue on.
First, to start with, to really publicize your open house and to try to draw in the most attention and the most people you can get, I highly recommend you've got to do marketing and you have to publish that information. So I usually start with, I use Canva or I use our EXP Marketing Center, and they'll help me come up with a flashy flyer that I can get out with some information about the house, just enough information that people will remember it after they've come by.
So where do you put that flyer?
Well, I'll get there.
Okay.
So just enough information that when they look at it, they're like, oh yeah, that's great. It's got my name on it or the name of the teammates that are with me at my open house, all of us on there, and then some info about the house. And then I'll also create a social media post with a lot of the same information. So I do a couple things. Once I've got that flyer, I'm going to walk around the neighborhood and talk to a few of the neighbors nearby because I want them to meet my face, to know who's going to be there, because I may not be the listing agent. It may be another EXP agent, and I'm there hosting an open house at their listing. But I want them to know, hey, come on by. We're having an event at the house. If you want to check it out, if you want to come talk to us, do you have any friends that are looking to move into your neighborhood? Because these people live here. They probably love the neighborhood, more than likely, and they know the most about it. So I'll talk to them, let them know that there's also going to be some activity, and it's kind of a safety thing too. So they know that I'm there. And so if something happens, then I know somebody else knows where I am. So there's that. And then I'll also post it on social media. We may create an event with it. We'll make that post and it'll go out a week before, a few days before. I'll email all of our CRM, so all the people in my database, let them know, hey, you're invited. Come out to this open house.
Yep.
So are there some things that in the promotion and marketing of an open house that you would suggest that I may have missed?
Well, the first thing is I put it in MLS.
Yeah.
And that way it gets to like Zillow.com, realtor.com. Truly, it gets all those big major websites and it's advertised as an open house. And, I love the fact that we, have a flyer. We go meet the neighbors. They might have a house to sell or something like that. But one of the other things that we do to really market is we do some targeted online ads and advertisement, whether it's boosting that property to the masses and try to generate some lead and generate some excitement about it. That's the other thing. It might be through Facebook or Google ads. So those are the things that we kind of do with that. So once we have all that advertisement and all the promotion going on and all the marketing going on, what is the one thing that we do to capture the contact information?
Yeah, so we've advertised it, we've promoted, marketed, we've started the open house, and now people are starting to show up. And really one of the big reasons that we're hosting an open house, besides to sell the home, is that we want to capture information, right? We want to meet these buyers or these families. So we'll have a sign-in sheet, have people come into the open house, have them sign in, ask them, are they working with a real estate agent or not? And just kind of get to know them a little bit. It's really a lesson, for me, it's a less intimidating situation to talk to people because I'm just, hey, check out this house. One of the other ways that we might gather their information is by having a drawing or a prize. So either, I don't know, a gift basket or a gift card for a gas card or whatever. But before they can be entered into the drawing, they've got to give us their name, their phone number, and are you working with a real estate agent? so that we can follow up with them later, and they don't have to be there the entire time for the end of the drawing. So that's one way to capture the information. I'm sure I've missed some. What other ways do we capture?
So
lead
one thing we do is sometimes we have like a QR code where we
yeah.
make it very simple for them to enter their information through the QR code. And that's a good way to capture that information for them.
Yeah, because everybody's carrying their phone around.
Yeah. So what do we do with the information after we get it? I mean, we don't spam people and all
No,
that.
we certainly do not. And well, we definitely don't intend to spam people, but usually we'll reach out right after the open house and just thank people for coming. And then try to have that, continue that conversation of, what started at the open house, of finding out what are they looking for with real estate? Do they need to sell a house? Do they need to buy a house? Is it something that's immediate, or is it a year away? And if it's a year away, what can we do to build that relationship to help them? Usually it's not just a phone call or an email. It's a phone call and inviting them out for coffee or
to more
something.
learn about what their needs are, more service
Yep, exactly.
than sales.
Yeah.
Even if they might not be ready to buy a house for
A year.
year, 2 years, whatever it is, maybe we can help them, guide them down the right path, as far as to home ownership.
Yeah.
So while we're at the open house, how do we do that? What do we?
So one of the things with an open house that you want to do is sometimes when people are at your open house or at our open house, they either have been to others or they are going to more. And I want them to remember my open house. I want them to remember me. So we want to create a memorable experience for them. So sometimes that means we're going to do coffee and donuts. So we'll have it a little bit earlier in the morning. So come by and have coffee and donuts with us and get to know us. And then look at this beautiful home that we've got to show you. It might be an evening where we've got a wine sampling, or we're doing other things to make it memorable. It's not just come in, look at this house, sign in the sheet, and leave.
Yeah, we try to stay away from, we do the 2 to 4 on Sunday open houses, but we like to do them a little bit different to make it more a memorable experience for people.
Yeah.
We're just trying to stand out.
One of the things I wanted to, we've heard a lot of talk about it, is doing an open house. Like you said, we'll do the 2 to 4 on Sunday afternoon or on Saturday. But I think trying to hit that Friday evening crowd, or even during the week when people get off work and they're headed home, maybe see if we can't capture some of that information, because that'll be a little bit more memorable. Just finding ways to stand out from the crowd. That's one of the things that for an open house to gain more traction.
Yeah, just create an event per se to attract people, and whether it be cooking hot dogs for people or hamburgers or whatever it is, just have a good time.
So people have shown up at your open house. What are we going to do with them when they're there?
So the one thing you need to do is you need to be present and you need to be engaging with them. Okay. So, answer any of the questions that they might have, tell them about the property, but give them a little bit of space and just engage with them and understand what they're there for, why they're there for, and just, I always ask 4 questions: family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So it's a way to engage in a person, to understand what they're about. They tell me a little bit of their story, and just start developing that relationship with them.
Yeah.
How about you? What do you talk about when somebody's in the house? You're great at talking. So
I like to talk. So I engage people as soon as they come to the door. I try to have a sign on the door that says, "Welcome, come on in," because I've had people afraid to open the door. If I'm not out there, I don't want to scare them off, but I engage with them. Just start talking. Like you said, the forward questions. Just start talking to people. Ask, why are they there? Are they there just for my coffee and donuts? I'm sure there's something else that we can engage with and talk about. And I've had people are just out driving around because they're thinking about relocating. So just talking and asking questions and getting them to talk to you, getting them to not feel like I'm here to sales breath all over you, but I'm here to serve.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. I just like talking to people.
One thing I like to do is get their perspective of the house.
Right.
Get them to, understand what their feedback is of the house. That way I can, give it to our client or the seller, the other agent, if we're hosting a house for another agent, so they understand better what the customer is actually looking at, what their feedback was.
Yeah, that feedback is really important for sellers. So if you're out touring open houses and somebody asks you, be honest, because all we can do is get better. So if there's something, because it may be something that maybe we didn't recognize or didn't notice, or just an opinion of something that might make it better. Yeah, I think that feedback is important.
So when we're at open houses and stuff, we kind of utilize technology a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Is what we do when we...
Sure. So some of the technology that we use for an open house is you can have an iPad there for sign-in sheets to gather information. So we had already talked about how, capturing people who come in, their information. Once we just know who's coming through the house too, so that we can tell the seller, here's who's been in your home. But it's just a way to capture information.
Did we do anything like walkthroughs and...
Yeah, so that starts, a lot of times it can be even before we've done the open house. It's with the listing. So you can do a 3D walkthrough. We can do the floor plans so that somebody, a lot of times people who, well, not even people who are just looking from out of state or aren't close by, but before they'll come to a house, they want to walk through and see, is it worth my time? So having those 3D walkthroughs, having the virtual staging that's done in some of the pictures, that's really big now. It allows people on an empty house to see what it looks like. Then we'll also, when we get there, I'll do a Facebook Live as a way to like, hey, come on out. Even in the rain, I've done them. They're, super fun. But inside the house and trying to do a quick clip of, here's some of the things in the house you might see to increase some of that expectation of people and having them want to come out and see us. So what are some other technologies that you might recommend?
Just really utilizing, you can utilize like AI now to understand exactly, what a description of the house might be. So it's just interesting how AI can generate those kind of things for you now. And it's cool to use that kind of technology. Not that we're experts on AI yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah, AI is a very powerful tool. It's got some interesting stuff to it. But using it for the description, but also it helps if I've got it helps me think from a different perspective because I can put in there a different type of buyer client and something that might be important to them.
Might give you a buyer persona.
Yeah.
And you understand that buyer.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But we definitely do that.
Those things we do. Do we involve any of our local businesses or, some of our partners?
Of course. So one of the other things with an open house that we do to help increase the leads that come through, but also just the effectiveness of the open house is partner with some of our business partners. So it might be a lender. It could be a home inspector, even coffee shops and restaurants that are in the area. For the giveaway, if they'll offer up a gift card or something like that.
Yeah. But even it's supplying the donuts and the coffee.
Exactly.
And it's kind of like an advertisement for them, but also it's a good business connection to,
exactly. Yeah.
Give some flair to it. There's things you can do to make it even more event. You can have like a food truck and all that stuff out there if you really want to get into it, like we talked about the wine event and stuff like that. There's wine vendors out there that will be more than happy to help you with that. Mm-hmm. So those are good things to, partner up with our business partners. I know we do a lot with a lender. Mm-hmm. They like coming to the open houses with us. And
the lender also helps make it, like we've already talked about, it's a memorable experience. All these pieces, like everything fits together nicely. Because having sometimes the lenders that come out, especially right now, one of the things I hear a lot about is, the interest rate is, and lenders, if you use that lender, sometimes they'll offer some credits or they'll have a way to do some financing where you might get a lower interest rate, or there's just a lot of things that lenders can do. So partnering with a good lender is a lot of fun, but it adds a lot of value to
so that kind of leads us to another part of the, sometimes we like to educate people at the open house to understand more about the buying process.
For sure.
So it kind of turns into, here's what you can expect through the whole buying process. It's kind of a seminar kind of thing, but it's just an educational format that we can talk to you while you're at the open house.
Yeah.
To understand more about that and how real estate works. You have any other suggestions about open house?
Get out and do them. Get out and meet people. I highly recommend hosting an open house to meet more people, to connect and to serve. It helps both buyers and sellers and agents.
Yes.
I recommend open houses. I like them.
So one thing in 2024 that we're going to try to do a little bit more is have like a themed event at the open house.
Yeah.
So it could be anything from, we already talked a little bit about those, like a weekend brunch or, the cocktail stuff in the evening. And
yeah. My favorite, because I'm an early riser, my favorite is
the coffee and
coffee and donuts, because I was sitting at an open house this weekend and collaborating with one of our partners. And we were talking about, oh my gosh, it'd be so much fun to we'll have coffee and donuts and hot chocolate and have a little hot chocolate bar and make it all this fun and have a flag out front that says donuts or coffee. To me, those are a lot of fun. And then I enjoy wine. So having one that's a wine tasting will be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to building those partnerships so that we can host those kinds of events, because I think those will be a lot of fun.
Yep.
And it'll get a lot of interest too.
Yeah, very much so.
At the end of the day, it's all about getting interest.
Well, thank you for joining us on this podcast. And I hope as a realtor, you may have taken away some good ideas. And as always, if you're looking to buy or sell a house in the upstate, please give us a call. One of the Unleashed advisors would love to help you out.
Look out, world. We are unleashed.